All right, why don't we get started? So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. My name is Paul Farrell. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for BorgWarner, and it's really a pleasure to be here this afternoon. But first, wanted to say thank you all. It's really great just to see everybody here together face to face for the first time in really a long time. It's been too long. So what we wanted to do today was quickly cover two items. So I'll spend a little bit of time providing a brief update on BorgWarner, our strategy, and where we're standing in that journey. I'll then turn it over to Harry Husted, who's our Chief Technology Officer. He'll give you a little bit of an update on our CV portfolio and really take you through some of the key technologies you can see in our booth. So those are the two things we wanted to cover. So I really wanted to just start by giving you a little bit of an overview on BorgWarner. I'm sure some of you are familiar with the company, others maybe it's newer. BorgWarner has grown tremendously over the last couple decades, and that's been through a mix of both organic as well as inorganic activities. Today we have 49,000 employees, over 93 locations in 22 countries. Our revenues last year were about $14.8 billion, and we serve virtually all of the leading vehicle manufacturers globally. We also serve, really, if you think about segments, passenger car, in CV space, medium duty, heavy duty, off-highway, on-highway applications. So really a full suite of cover really the full breadth of the market. So BorgWarner's vision is a clean, energy efficient world. And that's really been our vision for quite some time. And if you think of our internal combustion portfolio, it's really served as a North Star for our efforts there. And then as we look and we move into the electrification world, it's really at the center of how we think about it. Our focus is really around sustainable mobility solutions. Now, as you think about electrification is a journey we've been on for quite some time. We've made some progress in that space, specifically organically, things like coolant heaters, but a big piece of it's also been through mergers and acquisitions. And that journey started back in 2015 through our acquisition of Remy. Remy was really a foundational element of our electric machine portfolio. 2017, we acquired a company called Sevcon, which was foundational in terms of getting us started on power electronics and charging, really with more of an industrial focus. In 2019, we acquired two smaller companies, Reinhardt Motion Systems and AM Racing. We brought those together, and that's the foundations of Cascadia Motion. Cascadia is really an interesting company. It's really there to serve the smaller EV manufacturers, provide those inroads to some of the newer players, and then we can graduate them into BorgWarner as a larger tier one over time. And then lastly is the Delphi Technologies acquisition. That was the biggest acquisition in the history of BorgWarner, and that really gave a step change in BorgWarner's capabilities in terms of power electronics, low voltage electronics, and software. So these have really been kind of foundational elements of where we are today. Now, coming out of the Delphi Technologies acquisition, shortly thereafter, we announced our Charging Forward strategy. And there's really kind of three pillars to that strategy. First is we've made all these acquisitions. We got to drive growth through those. So step one is really the organic EV growth. And this is really all focused around electrification and electric vehicles. The second pillar is EV M&A. So continuing along the journey that we have been on already. And the last element is optimizing our combustion portfolio. So those are the three pieces. In parallel, we set very specific targets for ourselves. So when we made this announcement in March of 2021, our revenues from EV were less than 3%. Our target for 2025 is greater than 25%. And then as we look out to 2030, it's really to have them be almost half of our revenue, so about 45%. So these are really, we have a clearly defined direction we're headed. We're working this really every day, and we have clear signposts and measurements to track our progress over time. So how are we doing? So as we look at the organic piece, so we look at how are we leveraging the acquisitions we've made. When we rolled out Charging Forward, we set an objective for 2025 of 2.5 billion in EV related sales in 2025. Right now we're at 2.9. So we've really been, I think, very successful in taking the assets, integrating them, and leveraging them over time, and meeting that goal. Really, we're 18 months after that announcement. So we feel really good about the acquisitions we made and the benefits we've been able to drive from them. On the M&A side, this is something we've been moving forward on steadily over time. We set an objective for ourselves of $2 billion for revenue in 2025. Again, this is EV revenue. Today, we've completed 3 acquisitions. So Akasol, which we've got a number of products here from that acquisition related to CV battery packs. Santrol, which was a smaller company in China to support our electric motor portfolio. And then Rhombus Energy Solutions, which is a DC fast charging company supporting largely the North American market. If you look at those 3 assets, right now we've got about $800 million in revenue in 2025 towards our $2 billion goal. Also, it was actually this afternoon, we just made an announcement that we reached an agreement to acquire some assets from the Surpass Sun Electric. Again, it's a Chinese charging company, so that's just announced literally an hour or so ago. So that will continue to inch up that. So we feel really good about where we are with organic. We think we're making good, steady progress on our M&A objectives overall, and we feel good about the trajectory we're on for 2025. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Harry. Harry can give us a quick update on, again, this CV portfolio and some of the interesting technologies we have here on the booth.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Harry Husted. I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at BorgWarner, and I want to shift the focus to products and technologies. So BorgWarner makes a wide range of technologies and products for commercial vehicles. Not all of them are shown on this page. The focus on this page is about electrification, and you can see there's quite an array of products. So we've built this portfolio in a couple ways. One is through acquisitions, and the other is through the inventiveness of our teams and what they've put in place. Those have really come together in both ways, and you can see the company is transforming itself. There's a lot of electrification product, and if you think about the company, we're pretty propulsion focused, and now with the portfolio we have, if you think about propulsion energy flow, we really go grid to wheels. Okay, so we're able to pull power off the grid with the stationary charger, convert that to DC, get it into the battery pack. You see the battery packs over here, goes through the inverter to the electric motor, to the gear set, to the wheels. So this whole propulsion flow path is complete now, and that's the picture for us as we look at this. And this is why it makes sense to us to be positioned the way we are in the portfolio. And as Paul mentioned, right, light to heavy, on-road, off-road, we're thinking about all these things. We've been a supplier in the commercial vehicle space for decades, right? And now we're continuing to expand that to sustainable mobility and move it toward the future. What I'd like to do now is focus in on 3 of the products, the ones on the top row. And the first one I'd like to talk about is the flat module architecture for battery systems. This is a new development for us that is underway, and the key story here is around 2 things. Number 1, very low height, so less than 12 centimeters. And the second one is that there's actually 2 variants, 2 form factors of this product. There's this one that's very flat, and then there's a second one where we take half of it, we set it on top of the other half, and we create what we call high energy stackable, or HES. And then now we have 2 form factors that we can offer our customers as they try to package these battery packs in the vehicle. The low height is really important so that we fit underneath the load floor of like a light commercial vehicle, like a light delivery van. And then the other form factor helps give flexibility in packaging. So as an OEM is trying to fit energy into the vehicle, we have a couple form factors to be able to do that. And you can mix and match both of those in the same vehicle, put together one unified battery system. That's one thing that BorgWarner Akasol does very well. Take multiple packs and make it look like one big pack to the vehicle. So let's take a double click into this battery pack now. All right, there it is, spinning around. So the high energy flat pack that you see there is also on display over there. We have a mock-up over there you can go take a look at. Some key characteristics of this, so it's 40 kilowatt hours of energy storage, nice voltage range for CV, 350 to 750 volts, and a very high energy density. So this pack's going to be about 200 watt hours per kilogram, which is very much puts us in a leading position in terms of energy density. So what it does for us, I think I mentioned, right, low height, great packaging. We can have light commercial vehicle packaging under the load floor, and also for some of our customers that do things like buses, it gives them the option now to consider, can I take the batteries that are actually in the roof of the bus and get them down below the load floor, get them packaged in packaging zones? So we're giving them more options in terms of vehicle integration to pack these batteries in. So when you look at this architecture, and what we're doing here, it's a great example of the successful acquisition with Akasol. It's a great team. We brought them in, and that's continuing to grow and expand. You can see the creativity of the team following the market and where the market's going. So that's tremendous. The next product I'd like to talk about is stationary chargers. All right, this is a brand new product for us this year at BorgWarner. And once again, that's taking power off the grid, getting it into battery packs. And here what we've got is we've got a couple offerings. We've got an integrated architecture and a distributed architecture. The integrated one is right there. That's the Hyperion 120. What you do there is you do the power conversion right off the grid. So you're converting AC current to DC current that the battery needs. The other architecture, in the middle there you have this dispenser unit. This is at the vehicle, interfacing with the customer, getting the charge into the vehicle. This is the power conversion unit. So that conversion is in a separate place. It's closer to the grid. You can separate those two. You can do more branding and some things that are more artistic and design-wise there. So we've got two options. These two are part of our recent Rhombus Energy acquisition. They're very CV focused, and the neat thing about them is they're all certified, or they have products that are certified to be bidirectional. Another name for that is vehicle to grid. So you're able to take, in a coordinated way, power out of the vehicle's battery, put it back onto the grid. So you could do that for general grid support if you coordinate that over a large number of vehicles, or you can do that at a facility where you maybe want to do peak shaving of your facility needs so you don't have to pay demand charges that are higher than normal when you do peak power. So that capability is very nice. The Hyperion 120 has 120 kilowatt capability, so it can put out 120 kilowatts out of one handle into one car, or you can be charging two vehicles simultaneously at 60. So nice flexibility. And this is built on charging technology we've been doing for decades that came out of our Sevcon acquisition, so very reliable, very robust. Which, as you know, if you want to have a charging event, it's really important that the charger works when you get there. So, last product I want to talk about is electric fan modules. There we go. All right. So, this product's also brand new. It's brand new this year. Electric fan module. So what is it? It's the combination of the fan, the motor, and the inverter power electronics all together in one solution. We've been making fans for commercial vehicles for many years, all right? We're already in this business. That fan was driven by the engine crankshaft of the internal combustion engine. This fan's for vehicles that have no engine. Those vehicles still have thermal systems. They still have things that need to be cooled. So you've got the battery, the motor, the electronics, all need cooling. This particular unit's a very high power unit. This is 40 kilowatts of fan power continuous, 60 kilowatts peak. So why such a large fan? The answer is because our customers need that, and they've told us they need that. And it's for two types of applications. One is fuel cells, where fuel cells are very efficient, but you still have heat to move, but you don't have a lot of temperature difference. So you have to move a lot of coolant and a lot of air to keep that fuel cell cool. The other application is large trucks, heavily loaded, going downhill. It's an electric vehicle, so you can apply friction brakes, you can apply your electric machine, but when that electric machine starts generating electricity, high load, big truck, where do you put it? The battery pack won't be able to take it all, so they put braking resistors to dissipate heat, large resistors, and you have to move a lot of air across those resistors to keep them cool. So this is the solution. Very nice, compact, the motor's specially designed, low-speed motor, very thin, so you can get it in the front of the truck with the fan and everything, get it packaged. So this is a great example of an internal development by the team to get this to market, and so it's on its way in development right now. So I think this really is the conclusion of all the different featured products. If you look at these three are great examples of BorgWarner and our transformation journey as we continue charging forward. So that's my summary. And I think time-wise here, we've got a couple minutes if there's any questions about the products or the strategy. Yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
And how it integrates with your range of charging systems.
Okay, so the question is, how does the new acquisition today, we announced that we had reached an agreement, how does that fit in? What that does is that is going to give us additional products in the stationary charging area. And what it does is it expands us regionally. So that company is very focused in China, very strong there. They sell products around the world, but a really nice China focus. So we see that as a nice addition to our overall portfolio. Any other questions? Yeah.
Information. Beginning you showed the EV sales forecast, 25% and more.
Yeah.
I couldn't see any fuel cell. Are you not thinking in fuel cell coming, or is it so minor that you're not showing it?
Yeah, so great question. The question's about fuel cell. You know, we keep a close eye on the fuel cell market, and the first thing I'd like to say is every fuel cell vehicle is an electric vehicle, right? So you need every one of these products actually to do a fuel cell vehicle. The one thing you may not know is every fuel cell vehicle is a battery electric. It needs a significant electric battery to go with it. Fuel cells do not load shift very quickly, so you have to put a battery with it for transients. You need the inverter, the motor, all these things. So that's our primary positioning right now with regards to fuel cell. Any other questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions. What I would say is I have got a whole bunch of product experts over here that would love to talk to you. All these products are here. If you have any really hard questions, I can point to some people. I'd love to have you ask a really hard question too, but I won't point to them. So thank you for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the show. Bye-bye.